Hi, everyone.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Press is in the building. Well, I mean, she's always in the building, but I'm always like, she's always passing by because she's like nonstop doing shit when she's out here. And I'm always like, hey, you want to come on? She's like, no, fuck no. Fuck you, you fucking piece of shit. Get the fuck out of here. You know, I'm too busy doing real work and not fake ass work. And here is some of your real work on Jacobin.
Have you always pronounced it Jacobin?
Yeah, wait, how are you supposed to pronounce it?
Jacobin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess I've been wrong.
I didn't realize this, but someone pointed it out after I talked to you.
My bad.
Well, now I can correct
again. You come over here and you fucking correct me in front of my audience every goddamn time. Get out of here. What the fuck is this bullshit?
I'm just helping you, you know?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. 34 MKD50. Thank you for the 50 get the subs. People still fucking... All these lame asses that don't know shit about unions, people still make fun of me. Be like, union boss. Oh, I remember when you said that. Fuck you.
They love you, Hasan, obviously.
Yeah, no, they're fucking assholes. Fuck those guys. Hollywood is on strike against high-tech exploitation by Alex Press. That's you.
That's me.
Oh, my God. You wrote this.
I just wrote this, and I wrote it in Hasan's house.
There you go.
It was huge pressure to prove to you that I was not actually just hanging out. So I feel like I really
I was like, what's going on? What are you doing? You're just like...
It's almost 5,000 words long. It's a real magnum opus, so I must warn everyone in the chat. It takes a while to read, but that's also just proof that I really did have to be here all week.
Yeah. So you wrote this for 5,000. You wrote 5,000 words to prove to Jacobin.
Jacobin. You know, pronounce it however you want, Hasan. It's your
Jacobin.
House. It's my publication, but you can do what you please with it.
You did this so you could prove to them, like, no, I'm not just like pooling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though I gotta say, I think it's good because I wrote some of it by the pool. I feel like that is actually
the energy was captured.
The energy was captured. Yeah. I feel like I could make this work. The L.A. office of Jacobin.
Yeah. As both writers and actors on the picket lines in Hollywood, the stakes couldn't be higher. Will average entertainment workers be able to eke out a living in an industry awash in cash? Wait, is that Austin?
It is me.
Oh my God! Did you just pull up? Oh no, we just started like very news dense portion.
Oh, really? You told me to pull up whenever.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize Alex was going to come in and promote her article. No, you can.
I mean, I'm not great on news.
Yeah, this is also about the SAG. Well, you can talk about Grindr.
Oh yeah.
You can talk about Grindr unionizing.
Hey. Nice to meet you too.
Sorry to interrupt the segment here.
No, that's okay. I don't care.
Very unorganized.
Austin is my liberal correspondent. I actually wanted him to be here so we could fact check your article.
Oh, I see.
Phone banking for Biden in Texas. So
yeah. He's going to come in here and give you multiple Pinocchios.
I'll come in for a second and then I'll dip out and I'll come back.
Well, this is great. Yeah, maybe he could go shopping instead.
Yeah, he can also talk about the Grindr employees unionizing as well.
I can go shopping.
He's very he loves talking about bottoms unionizing.
Absolutely, I'm pro bottom.
He's a selfish top. He's lying. Okay. All right. Will the average entertainment workers be able to eke out a living in an industry of washing cash, or will studio executives use new tech like AI to gobble up all of it?
That's the question, Hasan.
That is the good question.
It's on the lips of everybody across this town.
So what are some of the best parts that you would want me to cover? Because it's 5,000 words.
I know. Well, you can. The lead here is I talked to this woman. I don't know if you want to read parts of it or something, but why don't you start? You read the first.
Los Angeles. Before she appeared on HBO's White House Plumbers and Fox's New Girl, Stevie Nelson hosted a television show on Nickelodeon. Oh, I know one of the. Kiernan Shipka she was also on Plumbers. Anyway, Stewie Nelson hosted a television show on Nickelodeon on Crash Leads.
It's a sort of like silly viral video show about like sports bloopers.
Okay.
Here, I'll interrupt you to get to her quote.
What?
So she hosted the show on Nickelodeon a few years ago. Wow. 3 seasons. I'll let you read other parts. Don't worry. We could do dramatic kind of voice acting. We could break the strike, basically, do some acting.
They crashed the site, by the way.
What? Oh, they crashed the site?
Yeah.
That's great.
Because they've been clicking on it too much.
Well, that's good because my editor will be happy with that. It'll be proof that people are reading it.
It's great that you guys don't have the infrastructure.
Okay. Well, this is a good problem to have. It means I get to say to Bosker, hey, actually, our readership we need stronger website because
Yeah.
some of us have a big audience here. So Stevie was talking to me outside of Netflix on Monday on the picket line. She's in SAG. She used to host this television show on Nickelodeon, and so it ran for 3 seasons. So there's 60 episodes worth of footage of her hosting a show. And we were talking about this because she said this thing to me about artificial intelligence, which is one of the big things, not just actors, but all sorts of SAG members are concerned about. So voiceover artists, background actors, all sorts of people are afraid that AI tools can be used to sort of train on images of them, use scans, and then basically just create digital versions, digital avatars of them. At that point, then they wouldn't need the real actors, right? And those actors wouldn't be getting compensated. So this is one of the big kind of points of disagreement between the studios and SAG AFTRA. And so Stevie has this quote where she says to me, "There's enough footage of me that they could technically have me host other shows for the rest of my life without ever having done it, and I'm sure I would not be fairly compensated for it. The idea of not a real person hosting shows is scary. The magic of acting and of hosting is its impromptu nature. I can't imagine how soulless it would be to replace it with AI." So she's literally imagining a digital version of herself just living in the internet in a digital warehouse, saying stuff she's never said, doing stuff she's never done, but indistinguishable from the real Stevie Nelson. And so that is... It might sound like a Black Mirror episode, is what I say in the piece. But it is really
it's not that
point of dispute at the table.
Wait, that is literally a Black Mirror
Is it?
episode.
See-
Oh my God, you're you're so ridiculous. Your knowledge of pop culture. You read too much. Read too many fucking books. You need to watch
Shit.
some television.
Oh, no.
Oh, it sounds like a Black Mirror episode. It literally was in the last season that just came out, where there is unironically a Black Mirror episode that is directly tailored around this specific thing. See?
Hosting a show?
No, it's
But what is everyone can...
I'm going to show you. What's the name of the episode, chat? Are you leaving, Austin?
Yeah, I'll come back later.
Okay.
See ya.
See you later.
I'll be around.
Yeah.
I'm finally done working.
Oh
for the
yeah,
day.
Joanne is awful.
See, this is great that I'm on your stream. 'Cause
Yeah,
now
but you
can
should've-
tell me what a TV show
But you should have
is.
consulted me before you wrote the
Okay,
article, so I could have
alright,
helped
well,
you. Okay.
You're really busy. I'm really busy.
I'm just saying, I clearly have a lot of. I'm a fountain of knowledge and information.
Hey, I wanted to get you on a picket line while I was here. Didn't really
Are
happen.
you leaving?
Probably.
Oh, I didn't even
haven't talked
realize.
about this,
I
guys.
thought, yeah, we don't really talk at all. I
Oh.
just see her in passing, and I'm like, oh, what's up? You want to come on? She's like, fuck no. And then she's like, I'm having all my friends over. We're gonna
wanna
have a tea
hang out?
party.
You want to hang out tonight? I got plans. You want to come to a
What do
show?
you? No, I want to go watch Barbie.
Okay, well.
What do you? What show? What do you? Don't leak it.
I shouldn't say.
Okay,
No.
never mind. Don't say it.
I'll tell you later.
Yeah, I want to go watch Barbie, not Barbenheimer, just Barbie. Anyway.
Okay, fine. So that's great. So we've already got one thing I have to fix, which is that
Yeah.
I should say it really is a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, no. The first episode of the season, Joan is Awful, takes its trend towards automation within the entertainment industry in particular, where it's basically a generative AI that has taken the likeness of an average person who signed a contract on a streaming service to watch the streaming service. So
I
they
see.
steal her likeness and her entire life. And then they basically make a television show out of it, like an automated television show out of it. And it shows all the awful things that she's done. It's kind of like a Truman Show situation.
Right.
But then her likeness is being portrayed by another, celebrated, cherished artist, which is, I forget her name now. What is it? Salma Hayek. So Salma Hayek is playing her in the show. And Salma Hayek has also signed on with a contract where she basically gave the AI likeness of herself to Netflix.
Okay.
And she becomes frustrated because then Joanne starts doing crazy stuff to make Salma Hayek look bad, like taking a shit at a wedding
I
in a
see.
church. So then they get together and they fight against Netflix to stop this from happening. So it's more of multiple layers. It's it has
Right.
a multiverse turn
Right.
at the end of it. But the point is, it's ironic that they wrote this, they published it on Netflix as
Yeah.
one of their signature shows, while
Right.
they're simultaneously working behind the scenes to to do that.
Right.
To do that exact same thing. Mm-hmm. So that is a real, you fucked up. But it's fine.
So I regret coming on this stream. I'm gonna leave now. This has been a humiliating process.
Okay.
No, so that was one of the first issues, right? So the AI stuff. You know, and just to put a fine point on it, you know, the SAG AFTRA's proposal is that the studios need to get informed consent from the performers before using their likeness, you know, that they're compensated for it, that they're aware of what their digital avatar is doing and being used for. The studios, at least according to the union, countered by basically saying, actually, what we propose is that we'll give background actors like 1 day's worth of pay for the hours it takes us to scan them.
Fair.
What's
the problem with that?
And then we have their likeness forever for the rest of their lives.
I don't understand.
So if you scroll down, because I want to quote from another one of, let's see, keep scrolling down. If you want to read, you're welcome.
Well, I want to read this part. It says, in this groundbreaking AI proposal,
he's being sarcastic here. This is the union's chief negotiator.
They gave us yesterday. They proposed that our background performers should be able to get scanned, get 1 day's pay, and their company should own that scan, their image, their likeness, and should be able to use it for the rest of eternity on any project they want with no consent and no compensation. Wouldn't that be wonderful if that background actor then like became very famous? Because that's how usually Hollywood works. So then you just don't need like actual Brad Pitt. You just have background actor Brad Pitt. So once he gets to a certain level, the studio could just kick in the AI version and be like, shut the fuck up, bitch. You signed a contract when you were a background actor.
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, that people have said exactly that on the picket lines, you know, and also, you know, IATSE, which is the below the line film workers, you know, they are the grips, the camera operators, the electricians, hair and makeup, costume. They also are threatened by this, right? Their contract expires next year. And so they're going to be having the same fight then because, you know, if they're not using as many real actors and real performers on a show, they certainly don't need as many costumes and hair and makeup. So this is threatening an entire segment of the industry's workforce.
This also 100% goes back to what you and I have talked about on this broadcast already about VFX, a significantly non-unionized proportion of the entire production that is being utilized more and more in this industry, specifically so they can offset a lot of the costs because you can do VFX if you are in Korea. You can do VFX if you're in the Philippines. You can do it anywhere globally. So even if like the American visual effects people unionize, they could just take it overseas somewhere else.
Yes.
In a way that you could not do with like physical actors and physical sets and practical effects that you need to utilize.
Yeah, they definitely try to offshore, you know, all sorts of parts of a production, but VFX has been, you know, sort of the key that they're just having these lower paid VFX workers in other countries. And there's very little thus far that workers have been able to figure out to stop this. So the thing I was thinking of is, yes, now it's up on the screen here, is the next actor quoted in the piece is this woman, Kate Comer. I also met outside of the Netflix picket line on Monday. She's been, you know, had small parts in just about everything. The Office, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, The Reboot, The Dropout. She is very much a working middle-class actor in Hollywood. And the concept she sort of referenced when we were talking about AI was, see, here's a show I have seen, Succession. And
of course, nerd.
All right. And, you know, the family, the Roys, their company, they use the term not a real person to refer to like the working class people who work at the company who either, you know.
That's how I refer to everybody.
That's how you refer to me in the house, which I think is like a little rude, but that's okay. And so like when there's an incident where like, you know, one of the guys, you know, hurts or kills, right? He kills a waiter. They refer to this as not a real person, right? These are not wealthy, famous people. Yeah. And both Stevie and Kate use this phrase, not a real person, to talk about how they were thinking about the use of AI. You know, Kate said to me, the thought of not having control over yourself and allowing other people to do whatever they want with you and your voice is terrifying. We just want regulations. We just want to have power over our own bodies. So this is like very familiar for a lot of types of workers. It is not just actors who are concerned with bodily autonomy and respect, but it is sort of this extreme dystopian version that actors are dealing with right now. Of course, the writers too want regulations on AI. It's worth mentioning, but that's more of a future threat. Whereas for the actors, it's very visceral. Like they are speaking about themselves and what they might see themselves or a version of them doing in the future.
Yeah. I mean, this is already, in a much smaller and less significant way, this kind of happened with NFTs for Twitch streamers already, where like NFTs is just like the Wild West. It's a fucking scam from the jump, and I hated it. But there were a metric ton of NFT companies that were basically like crafting the likeness of streamers or without any permission whatsoever, or literally taking like viral clippable moments from streams and trying to repackage it in the form of NFTs back to like the fan base of streamers. It was insane. No one had consented to it. And then you also have the deep fake stuff that happened as well.
Right.
It's just like there are so many components. Like we all basically experience similar things in the entertainment industry. It's just that it's, I think, a much worse problem when it's these multi-billion-dollar corporations that are doing it because they can do it without. They can do it and make it legal to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
In a way that like some random dude who's like crypto mining, he's not going to be able to get away with it for too long.
Right. I mean, also like, you know, Fran Drescher said at the press conference announcing the strike last Friday, something along the lines, not just talking about AI, but all of these issues. She said, you know, if I'm paraphrasing, but she was like, if they can get away with it with us, if we agree to this sort of thing, imagine what's going to happen to you and your family and your coworkers who are less famous, have less money, are not union. And so she was, you know, doing something that everyone on the picket lines has been doing, which is saying, we're just one part of the labor pool. This is not just celebrities. This is not a particular industry that has nothing in common with others. We are just experiencing something that UPS workers are experiencing, you know, labor-saving technology that threatens working conditions, harassment, part-time gigification. These are all things that workers across the board are dealing with.
I also like, I would love to talk about this aspect of it. On wages, SAG AFTRA has proposed an 11% raise in the first year of the contract to catch up after years of inflation. Thank you, Brandon. Joe Brandon. The studios countered with a 5% per year, which would amount to a pay cut. Now, this, I think, dovetails perfectly into what you were saying about the average experience of the average fucking worker, because every single person in this chat that actually works a regular job has seen exactly the same thing. At the end of the year, you get like a marginal increase in your salary, and then you look back and the cost of living has shot up. So you didn't actually get an increase in your salary. They decreased your fucking salary. I've seen it happen to all of my friends and family members who work in regular jobs, in regular sectors where they're wage laborers. It is fucking ridiculous. Now, why is it that you and these actors have the exact same concerns? Well, it's because they are wage laborers in a similar way that you are, and their relationship with their bosses is nearly identical to how your relationship is with your bosses.
That's right. Preach, Hasan. Get out on those picket lines.
Yeah.
Let's see. So the next thing, I feel like we can't go through everything because it's going to take so long. But I think, you know, the other important thing to sort of explain to people is the residuals issue, which is so complicated. But, you know, people probably at this point are familiar with what residuals are. They're like a royalty payment anytime a show gets syndicated or reruns, you know, on cable and networks. An actor and a writer would get a residual check, right? They would get some amount of the share of the profits. Now, on streaming, that is not the case, right? Streamers rarely are licensing and selling their shows. I spoke to, when Kate Comer, the actress, was speaking with me, she used an example of her own from her own life to sort of illustrate this. So when she was on The Dropout, which, you know, won an Emmy, she got the highest tier of residuals. There are 5 tiers. And had the show aired on network television, she would have gotten $3,664 for the first rerun, with continued payments with each subsequent airing. But because it ran on Hulu, on a streaming platform, she told me she instead received about half of that amount, $1,863. And in exchange, Hulu made it available unlimited basis for a year, right? And so she's not getting another check when there's another rerun or a syndication, because there is no such thing on a streamer, right? You subscribe and you have access. And so this is very significant. You know, there have been stories going around of, you know, I mentioned them, I think later in the piece, that there was one actor who had like a lead role on a popular show. She I think tweeted or put on Instagram a residual check she got for 1 cent. And people are like, how is this possible?
Yeah, it's literally more expensive to print out that check and send it than the actual check itself, which is so incredibly strange.
Right.
Really quick, I gotta run the top of the hour ad break and also give a shout out to Brebo236 for the 50 gifted subs. Here's the Thurman ad break now. Anyway, back to the story. So, as far as residuals goes, you're right. It is very complicated because they do not have the same like ad revenue backed incentive structure, ad revenue backed revenue structure that earlier forms of entertainment had. So I don't know how to even engage in profit sharing in that regard when the revenue that these companies are generating, the profits potentially that they will generate down the line, all come from subscription.
Right.
So, and they all are like every other aspect of Silicon Valley, venture capital backed. They suffer tremendously when there is an increase in interest rates because there's no steady flow of cash. And just like every other Silicon Valley corporation, their goal is to ultimately monopolize a certain sector, and that's what their market cap reflects. Like who is closer to monopolizing the streaming space, which of course having a shit ton of competition in that sphere currently makes that much harder, and therefore makes it harder for them to become profitable, as a matter of fact.
Right.
But as far as profit sharing goes, like I said, I don't know what the best way forward is. I just know that they are raking in a ton of fucking profits.
Yeah.
They're raking a ton. They're generating a ton of revenue, and not necessarily sharing it, especially when you think about a company like Netflix that also has a negative incentive. Not only do they not want to share more revenue, just like every other company like Hulu, Paramount, whatever, but they also don't want to reveal their numbers internally.
Yeah, they won't share those numbers, right? And so it's very hard for actors to have a sense of how popular their show is, much less creators. You know, I spoke to people who created television shows that have no idea how many people have watched their shows, right? They don't even know. And so you're walking around having some days you'll feel like everyone has seen the show. Other days you're like, what if they're lying to me and they're so embarrassed that they'll never tell me or anyone else?
Yeah.
And actually I'm a failure. And I just have no idea, right? Which is very difficult for a creative person who spent years on a project.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy that they don't have the numbers. I just want to say, you know,
and they have the capacity to make it or break it too. Like they can just push your show to the front, and like when you get front placement on Netflix, that's massive. That's like they know what show is going to bang, and they will often float that show in the front page for a little bit, maybe massage the numbers, make it trend a little bit, and play favorites. And that in and of itself, like I'll tell you like this, as an avid Netflix and pop culture consumer, I see a big push from Netflix specifically, and it might be my own personal algorithm, but in the success of Squid Games, I have seen a big push from Netflix on Korean cinema, K-dramas, and I do think that this is deliberately done because they want to leverage against potential strikes like the one that's happening, so they can tap into the Korean market because they've already served some
and it's
Korean
cheaper labor.
Yeah, they've already served Korean IP to the American audience, and once they get American audiences used to Korean content, then they can just keep serving that at a much cheaper price when there is labor disputes going on.
Yeah. So I'm just going to read a short paragraph I wrote, and then I want to quote Adam Conover about this sort of bigger question about like the profitability and the model. So here's what I wrote. The streaming model may well be unsustainable. Studios tried to imitate Netflix, but that company's 10-year head start meant Netflix ate their lunch, building a subscription model off the backs of their old shows, which it bought for cheap. It was the easy money era, and Wall Street plied the studios with cash, helping them build faulty platforms. Shows proliferated, their numbers nearly doubling in a decade. Now, shareholders are demanding profits rather than subscriber growth, and the studios are responding to the pressure by squeezing labor. But workers, particularly ones as well organized as those in the film and television industry, can only be pushed so far before they fight back. To expect otherwise is unrealistic, if even downright delusional. I feel like this sort of sums up what's going on here in this moment. And, Adam, said something along the same lines to me. He said, they chased Netflix, but Netflix lied to the public about what was possible. Netflix said for $15 a month, you can cancel your TV subscription and have every show ever made forever with no ads. That was a lie. We know now that they can't build a business that way, but all the other companies chased it, and it destroyed a very successful industry that people loved.
This is such a fundamentally important part of this piece, and I guess it goes to like, I don't know if you saw this piece of discourse on Twitter, the banana discourse.
A little, though. Thank God I've been too busy writing.
Yeah, same.
This.
I missed it entirely, but like, I think unlike the banana discourse, this is a situation where like there already was a model that worked. At least was like more equitable. I can't believe we're looking at linear television as like the more equitable situation because of like how tech bros have also eviscerated equity in yet another fucking field with their disruptive technology. But if you can't make a profitable company, okay, while simultaneously pumping new content, then guess what? Sucks to fucking suck. You don't need to have Netflix,
right?
Okay, like content will still exist, movies will still be made, television shows will still be made, streamers will still exist. They will find a new way to generate revenue in a way that is more just, in a way that is more equitable. It is so fucking insane to me that like we act like Netflix has to exist. This will like ruin our lives if Netflix didn't exist the way it did. It doesn't matter. Something else will replace it that could be a better revenue structure for everyone involved, and it should.
Right. I mean, the bottom line is like, look, these people, Kate, the actor, was said to me, she loves streaming too. She loves the shows. She loves that the writing workforce in Hollywood has become more diverse, but it is just not sustainable. It's not a question of if it is. The fact that both the actors and writers are on strike is proof that it is not sustainable. This is a business. It has to pay the people who make the work. And I just want to, the last kind of main person I want to talk about a little bit on this same topic too is Mike Schur. So Mike Schur is a member of the WGA's negotiating committee, as is Adam Conover, who we mentioned. Mike also, he created The Good Place. He co-created Parks and Rec, as well as Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He started out as an SNL writer, and then he went and worked on The Office. That was his first kind of longer-form scripted television show. And I met him outside of the Paramount Studios picket on Tuesday. And we had a very good conversation that I really, I quote him at length. I really recommend you read the piece, that you get that far into the piece. But Mike, because he's been in this industry for decades, I think has really good insight into a sort of this, what is happening, what has changed, what are the downsides, right? And, to start, he said, like, look, I've been in the union for decades. This is the first time I've been on the negotiating committee. And the reason I got involved is that if I were starting out now, I would never have a career. Everything that, all the opportunities he got, the incredible success he has enjoyed is because of the old model, right? So he explained to me that when he joined The Office, right, Craig Daniels was his boss, the creator and adapter of that show. And Craig made a real point to make sure that he walked Mike, Mindy Kaling, and BJ Novak, who had very little long-form writing experience at the time, through the entire process of television writing. And he says, I'll just read the sort of quote at length here. Writing is a complete misnomer for this job, he told me. This is where the companies are completely missing the mark and are ignorant of what it takes to make television. The job is not sitting at a computer, clickety-clack. That's 10% of the job. And then he explained to me everything else that Craig taught him. Right, so I won't go through this entire paragraph, but he's...
No, it's good to know. There's brainstorming, rewriting, or realizing that a script sucks, throwing it away, starting over. I mean, I used to... I mean, you write.
Yes.
You understand it.
But television writing is particularly collaborative, I think. Like, that is something...
That too, for sure.
That's different than, like, what I was doing, though. I would say reporting is also very collaborative. You know, there's a reason I like talking to people instead of just sitting at my computer.
Back when I was writing, or even now when I utilize, like, some level of writing when I'm crafting a narrative or something that I'm about to talk about, I think that the real world experiences that I have where I even like go outside and fucking smell something, I think that contributes to what your writing is going to look like.
Yeah.
It is infinitely different to just like sit in front of a computer and write about concepts that you are, you know, very well tapped into, or even like Zoom meetings or Discord calls that you might have with people that are knowledgeable, than to actually go down there. We experienced this personally. I've been covering, labor action for a very long time now, but there is nothing better than actually going to the picket line and showing you the collaborative nature of how like different unions work alongside one another in order to shut down a production. Seeing that is very different than just experiencing it. And I think that is a big part of the writing side as well that people just take for granted.
Yeah. And I was looking at the chat's comments, and so they want the in-depth stuff. So I'll just read the rest of that paragraph. So when I asked what the other 90% consists of the job of television writing, he offered a crash course in the profession. There's brainstorming and rewriting, or realizing that a script sucks and throwing it away and starting over. There's bringing the script to set and working with the actors and director. There's getting to know the set decorators and art decorators and production designers and electricians and grips and teamsters, figuring out what they do and how they do it. There's knowing when to delegate and when to take responsibility. Then there's the process of getting notes from studios, from networks, and knowing when to pick your battles. All of that requires mentorship. Daniels walked Schur and Kaling and Novak through the job, and it allowed them to go on to become showrunners and in turn teach more people how to do it, who then went on to do the same, passing the knowledge through the generations. The mini room model, which I spoke to a writer before this bit about Mike Schur, who worked in mini rooms, a young writer, right? So shorter term contracts, not on the set at all, basically just doing the part where you sit at a computer and you churn out scripts. So I said, the mini room model makes all of that impossible. If studios no longer budget to have young writers like Alter on set, those writers will never see what it means to take words on a page and translate them into a television or film scene. The thing that drives me nuts, this is a quote from Mike, is that the system has worked incredibly well for 75 years and it has made these companies tens, if not hundreds, of billions of dollars of pure unadulterated profit because they have a free training system. When the studios say, you don't need this many writers, the writers don't have to be on the set, the writers don't have to be in post-production. They're completely and ignorantly missing the whole point of how this machine has worked. It's Jerry Maguire. Help me help you. We're saying to these companies, do not understand what happens to this machine if the writing is walled off from all the other aspects of production. Either they don't understand it or they don't care. And either one of those scenarios is too horrifying to contemplate.
Yet again, identical circumstances, even if it's not about writing, even if you're not in the creative profession, you have the exact same gripes with your bosses, right? They don't understand it. 90% of them never touch the production aspect ever. They have no fucking knowledge over it. They're not paid to know. They don't even want to know. They don't want to humanize you for the most part, so they can just see you as numbers on a fucking board. All they care about is squeezing more profit. They want to fucking squeeze the remaining wetness out of their stone in order to generate more shareholder value, which then ends up making the product fucking worse.
Yes. I mean, it's like there's a quote from that woman, Rachel, the younger writer, where she's like, this is art. They are ruining the art. You can't work as a gig worker and try to produce a great television show. That's just not going to happen. I'm going to close, there's a whole section as well about the UPS rally that Sean O'Brien, the Teamsters president, was at. And so I encourage people to read all of it. But I just want to close on this question of the executives. Mike said to me, I use it as the final 2 paragraphs of the article. I'll just read the 2 paragraphs. There used to be people running these companies who thought of themselves as stewards of the industry, said the WGA, reflecting on what led to the strikes. They'd think, I'm sitting in the chair that Jack Warner sat in, and I have a responsibility to the history. Now these guys are tech bros from Cupertino. They're not people who care about Hollywood qua Hollywood. They are people who think that this is an industry with inefficiencies, and if they can eliminate those inefficiencies, they can suck out a bunch of money and then sell and move on in the same way they have with other industries. Hollywood is very good at creating monsters, and people in positions of power very frequently turn out to be monsters. But the one thing those monsters had going for them was that they gave a shit about Hollywood, he continued. I don't think that's the case right now. No one's running the town. You used to be able to say, who are the 5 people that run Hollywood? Everyone could reel off those names. But now, no one is running Hollywood.
It's not Ari Emanuel?
He wishes, but there wouldn't be a double strike if it was. So I encourage everyone to read it. I think I'm very lucky that I got so many great people to speak to me. And I mean, it's crazy to be here and see a town that really relies on
Would
this
you do
industry.
that, by the way?
What is the questions here?
If I had her on
Wait, talk to her?
before you leave, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I am meant to interview her for a piece sometime this coming week, but I'm happy to.
Badass.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Zach
Sure.
be a king of the night runs Hollywood. Come on, chat. Like, dude, I don't want to give Alex brain cancer. Okay.
See, I don't know what that.
It's just don't worry. Don't
Thank God.
fucking. Oh my God, he's a blood sucker, fame fucker.
I see.
He's a vampire, according to Olivia Rodrigo. Okay.
Okay.
We gave Jacobin the hug of death. Yeah, I know. You guys bricked the website.
It's I've been on my phone. I was texting my editor saying, I think we crashed the site. Sorry.
Yeah. UPS is trying to make its tech workers work in the warehouses. No offense to tech workers, but if UPS is recruiting their coders to scab as warehouse workers, they must be desperate. My company's union is about to go on strike, and I'm being sent 3 states away to work in a shipping warehouse. That's so awesome. I love when companies try to do that.
It's amazing.
It's so funny. It's like front office motherfuckers coming in to do like logistics. Like, good luck. It's really devastating because it actually harms. One, it ruins the production.
Yes.
Every single time. Like every single time. But it also ends up harming the people that you're like kind of using because they're not unionized.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you remember. I know you talked to Jonah Furman a lot in the past. Who was a great labor reporter for Labor Notes, and now is the head of comms for the United Auto Workers. So he's not writing anymore, but he has not stopped doing what he's great at. But he covered the John Deere strike really in depth, and they had tried to get the white collar workers to like build the machinery and stuff, and it was like a disaster of like crashes and other kind of like mishaps. And then a lot of the white collar workers then started leaking to Jonah and otherwise supporting the workers who were on strike because they're like, because
they're in a shitty situation because like they don't want to lose their job. They have no protection that the union offers you in a situation like this, right? So they're just kind of like, well, I don't know. I don't want to fucking use this heavy machinery that I'm not equipped to use.
Yeah.
It's always dangerous. This will absolutely break people's backs. Like, this is so stupid. If you're UPS, they tried doing the same thing to me. Just say no. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens with UPS. But it does seem like UPS is getting desperate, and they went back to the negotiation table recently.
Yeah, I would say so. Also, I saw that this tweet we're looking at is from Elliot Lewis, who is a great UPS driver and organizer in my local in New York, local 804. So just wanted to shout out Elliot, who is there every single day doing the organizing stuff.
Shit.
Yeah. So wait, what was Lindsay wants to come on when? What's she thinking?
Well, I haven't I stopped DMing her like a while ago, and then I just realized like maybe it'd be cool to have both of you guys on at the same time so that it would be a more productive conversation. Because I'm happy to talk to her. You would direct it in a way I think that is more productive.
If you want to like go back to whatever, something else, and just text me if she wants to hop on. I'm just gonna be at the house. I promise.
No, I know. I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't be today.
Oh, okay.
Is what I'm
Got it,
saying.
got
But
it.
I don't know when you're
Cool.
leaving. So
I don't know when I'm leaving either. This is the thing I have to figure out next.
Yeah.
Maybe Monday, maybe Tuesday. Soon, I promise.
Yeah.
All right. So I feel like I've talked enough. I, after a very long morning, want to chill and relax. So thanks for having me on again, Hasan.
not Lindsay Lohan, you fucking weirdos. Lindsay Doherty,
Yeah, me and Lindsay Lohan.
who's the head of Teamsters Hollywood.
Yeah.
How did you manage to have 3 house guests named Alex in a row? That's true. The 2 commie Aussies that were here were also named Alex and Alexa,
Oh, wow.
that were staying here for a month before you.
They're staying here for a month.
Yeah.
Wow. So I could do that. Good to know.
I have a very open door policy to my friends that are doing good work, you know?
That's very nice of you, Hasan.
What else am I going to do with this house?
Yeah. All right. Good talking to you. Good talking to you, chat. Just let me know as far as Lindsay. I'll be by the pool.
All
Bye,
right.
everyone. Please read the article. Please post it. I'm on social media, etc. Bye.
Want to take her out to pee? Thank you. Her leash is over there, I think, by the door somewhere. My one policy: if you're gonna stay here, you might need to take care of Kaya a little bit. You know, offer her friendship. She's pretty low maintenance. I mean, she gets a little crazy from time to time, but yeah, she can pee in the backyard. She can pee in the front. Okay.
Hey everyone, I'm the editor. Thanks for watching till the end. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, then please drop a like and subscribe. Why not leave a Kaya love in the comments down below so that I know that you reached this point of the video? If you'd like more content like this one, then check the video up here on top of my head, or literally in front of my face right here.